Good morning, everyone. Well, today we have the feast of Saint Benedict. Saint Benedict was a guy who established basically the rules for monastic discipline. In other words, he's saying, in terms of going into a monastery and so forth, you need to make sure that you have discipline, you discipline yourself. And he put some pretty tough rules in place. In fact, initially, some of the people objected so much they tried to poison the guy. Fortunately, they didn't succeed. But what he essentially said is you need to focus on God when you go to a monastery, but you also need to keep your feet on the ground. In other words, don't get so lost in the spiritual that you forget about the reality. I think it's very wise advice, and Saint Benedict has given us a lot to follow. And I remember in visiting Rome at one stage when we went to, in fact, the site where St. Paul was apparently put to death, where he was beheaded, was at a Benedictine monastery. And when you walk into the place, there's a statue of Saint Benedict standing at the door. And as you go, and he's finger on his lips, it's a place to be quiet. Interesting, fascinating. All right, let's have a look at the Gospel of today. It's Matthew Gospel, chapter 10. And in fact, we look at Matthew's Gospel throughout this week, and you've got some pretty stern words for us to hear. Jesus says, I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. Remember, in this passage, he also talks about, he will turn brother against sister and father against mother and all these kind of things. It's, quite scary stuff. Why would he do that? What he's essentially saying is anyone who puts anything ahead of me is not worthy of me. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we've got to give up everything that we have and forget about the world. And, I suppose there are people, such as Saint Benedict, who would go into a monastery and focus all their attention just on God. But we live in this world, and therefore we need to learn to live of it. But we should never let anything get in the way of our worship of God and our relationship with Him. Sadly, I think many people do. You recognize that it's good that kids and other people have exercise and so forth, but so many clubs and so forth organize functions on a Sunday. Which is okay, but if you're going to follow those things at the expense of your religious worship, remember Jesus said, the commandments rather said, keep the Sabbath holy. Not only keep the Sabbath holy when you haven't got anything else going on. You need to keep the Sabbath holy. So we need to make sure that we don't let anything get in the way of our relationship with God at any stage. It just requires discipline. Ask Saint Benedict. You have a wonderful day and keep safe. God bless. Bye-bye.